Thank you very much for the invitation and for inviting me to speak. And I see many friends here in the webinar as a panelist is also attending it. And thank you, Sabyasachi, Asian Confluence, for organizing this very effective and very important webinar, the run-up event to the coming summit. Sir, all have been said since the morning, and your speech, your introduction, Dr. Atiu Rahman's opening remarks, High Commissioner's speech, Minister's speech, Sridhar's comments, Salim's, very lucid presentation on the burning issues, and Professor Said Farhat Anwar and others, they have spoke, Dr. Mizanur, all spoke very eloquently, very nicely to the point, and they gave up many out-of-box, thinking and several brilliant ideas. I will rather, for the sake of time, I will rather limited my speech presentation in 7 minutes time and 3 to 4 points. I think Sabyasachi's report, which he shared the executive summary, some of it are already there. One is that that we look at this year. Actually, India-Bangladesh bilateral trade is gone back in terms of the volume. Bangladesh export is more than 1 billion. Bangladesh enjoys market access in India and several other South Asian countries because of SAFTA, etc., etc. These are very well documented. But the main issues on the economic front, on the trade is, which is the non-tariff related. So to get rid of all those, non-tariff things, which are reciprocal in nature, sometimes because of, power rivalry, sometimes because of some other sensitive issues. These are, introduced on reciprocal basis over time. How to get rid of it? It's very difficult, and it is difficult. So what I suggested, that a $10 billion trade, it has the potential to bring it at 15 billion by 2023 if that mood comes back, and if the countries picks up from the current deceleration. Bangladesh is the country in South Asia having healthy growth despite COVID-19 pandemic, along with Nepal and other South Asian countries. So I think the Bangladesh can easily expand its trade export from 1 billion to 5 billion. So one hand is a 10 billion bilateral trade. It can have reached to 15 billion in 3 to 4 years time, and 1 billion export can come to the 5 billion Bangladesh export to India. Now, this is a very ambitious plan, and we have been discussing. Perhaps this will also be discussed when the summit leaders, when they meet. What next? Because India, Bangladesh, if you look at their activities in terms of connectivity programs, both physical, digital, and cultural, it's quite widespread, very active. Some places very intensive programs. So coming out with something new that gives a very strong spiraling impact on Bangladesh as well as Northeast India. I think this is what this the discussion happening, and some of the ideas I have picked up. This is I think the good one to start with, and this is I have been telling that onus is with India. So for example, the border posts at Dauki, which is incomplete, other side Tamabil, which is even not yet started. Border posts in some other areas like in West Bengal side called Ghoja Danga. Very interesting name. So both sides, these are the places where we haven't done much strengthening our border infrastructure. Strengthening border infrastructure means it's additional revenue to the government. Both government, Bangladesh and India, because they have to pay salary. So and because trade liberalization, actually lots of money they could not. The government could not collect because of they have to forego the customs revenue. So strengthening border infrastructure should be one of the priorities, the northeastern side as well as with the West Bengal side. I think that's what is moving, and this is the task of India, that India has to take the lead. This is, I would recommend, and should be the one. Second is The connectivity part, which we have the Bangladesh and India has set up a new example. If you follow their coastal shipping agreement, Bangladesh and India, they have decided to waive the cabotage, right? And for which, Bangladesh is actually getting, almost the free flow of their vessels to anywhere in Indian ports. So this is a very exceptional, gesture that India has offered to the Bangladesh, and this very healthy environment. And today, the Tripura, one of the states in Northeast, they were well connected within India, and many other places, like in the northeastern part, which is also having a strong implication on the tourism. That's what the FICCI FLO's president, Madame Fouken, she also said like that. Now, so one hand, we have a trade target of 15 billion. Bangladesh's export target to India 5 billion. Other hand, you have a challenges in the connectivity sides, on the non-tariff sides. So what I suggested that let Bangladesh and India, they agree to a moratorium. Maybe I may sound loud, and maybe this is not, this is maybe, not part of WTO. You have to look at WTO plus kind of thing, the moratorium on anti-dumping. They don't put countervailing duty or anti-dumping to each other, and allow this trade to flow a little bit, free flow kind of things. Because when you talk about kind of a connectivity, which will be a free flowing, so they need to pick up cargo, goods, passengers. So you have to creating an enabling environment. This is one. And quickly, and that's what I will end, that that India Bangladesh has proposed to a SECA. Now, why a SECA is required? Because if you don't go for this kind of a deeper trade agreement, then governments believe in status quo. They won't commit to removing all these trade barriers, which is simply not possible. Any kind of a regional or kind of a sub-regional agreements. Lastly, I stop here. That Ambassador Pinat Chakravarti sir said healthcare. This time, and I remind that March 4th week, we went for a lockdown. Bangladesh also similarly followed the same time. We gradually started opening up from the month of June, July, August. The people in Bangladesh, and also in India, there are huge, complicated health issues. And our hospitals in Kolkata, anywhere in India, they were, they have been, well, earlier, before COVID, many of the Bangladeshi patients, they used to come and treat. Now there is an option, and this coronavirus pandemic given, kind of an opportunity. Let's create a health hub in northeastern part of India. And two places are coming up. One is at Imphal. Please visit whenever you have a time. I would request our next speaker, Mr. Khokon, to visit, Imphal, Srija Hospital and surroundings, which are offering health services to the patients from Myanmar, and the Guwahati. So these Guwahati and Imphal, even if the flights are disrupted because of supply chain disruption and COVID, people in Bangladesh and bordering districts of India and Northeast, they can drive, and by road they can reach to the hospitals in Guwahati and or in Imphal, any other places in Agartala maybe there. So this is where we need to think about a new strategy for a health infrastructure, health system in the Northeast. So with that, I end here, and thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to speak. Thank you, sir.